Hello, everyone. Two big news items today. One is the continuing counteroffensive, and the other one is the G20 summit, of all the things. Let's dive in. CNN managed to actually do an exceptional job on this particular piece. So this is called Seeking a Breakthrough, a visual guide to Ukraine's counteroffensive. And if you're like me and you are visual, this is a piece for you. I strongly recommend it. Another source that has excellent maps is BBC. So between those two, really good outline of what is going on. This includes the baseline, so the initial picture of territory occupied by Russia and the progress by Ukrainian troops, the areas that were retaken. So you can look and see where the fighting is taking place with respect to Ukraine's capital, Kiev, where Crimea is, the eastern part, the south part, all of that. And there are truly excellent close-ups like this one here. This one is showing you Zaporizhia. It's over there on the left. And where the nuclear power plant is at, and the current direction of the counteroffensive. So you can see not just where things are, but where the goals are, where the Ukrainian army is looking to go. And so they did a really good job. So I don't praise CNN often, but in this particular case, they really did do a good job and collected a lot of information. So pop over, check out this article. Really informative. As the fighting continues, remember the map I just showed you? The fighting, once again, comes very close to the nuclear power plant. And yet again, UN nuclear watchdog says, hey, we got a problem because we got a nuclear power plant, the most powerful one in Europe, smack dab in the middle of a battlefield. And my question is, and what are you going to do about this? Because this has been the case since March of 2022. That was when the Russians first came to occupy the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. So we know it's a problem. We asked for help. Ukraine had shared intelligence it had about the approaches and certain structures at the nuclear power plant being mined. There's explosive right there. Can you imagine putting military strength explosives at a nuclear power plant? I mean, any kind of power plant or any type of industrial establishment for that matter, but nuclear power plant specifically. So this is not news. My question is again to everybody, what do you suggest? Do you suggest Ukrainians just stop fighting because this is happening, because Russians have mined the nuclear power plant? Once again, Ukraine had shared this information with the international intelligence community, and nothing happened. So if all you're going to do is express concern, this is not very productive. And speaking of things that are not productive, there's this. There's the G20 summit. And apparently it wasn't just India who couldn't make up its mind about the war in Ukraine. It's quite a lot of the members of G20, of which Russia is also a member. And what's shocking about this is that a lot of the G20 members are former colonies, starting with India. So they are familiar with imperialist expansion. They're familiar with colonialism. They're familiar with the unlawful overtaking of the land of another country. They know all this. So how could there be two opinions on what is happening in Ukraine? And yet, when asked to come up with a clear and concise conclusion about what's going on there. They chose to be very non-committal and wishy-washy, which is very disappointing. Of course, Ukrainian people are known for their hard work, hospitality, and helpfulness, and they decided to help the G20 in this case as well. So they took the draft of the conclusion and fixed it up a little bit. I think it looks a lot better this way. What do you guys think? I think this works a lot better, and I hope G20 takes this into account.